Finally getting it to record. Nice. Alright. Let's do this. This is Flex. Giving you guys another dose of the weekly Fantasy Flex show. Breaking it down. Week 4's matchups. Week 5 preview. You know how I do. First, we're going to get up into these standings. Goes a little something like this. You got Hank Aaron division. Number 1 is still rolling on top, man. You got the bench player. Like I said, Deuce Stange's name is starter, but he's still rolling on the bench player. He's holding that down with 38, 16, and 6 record. Currently number 1. Number 2 is 4 games back, and that would be the Toronto Bandits. He's got a record of 35, 21, and 4. Third up in that division, you got VKL with a record of 29, 27, and 4. He's 10 games back in his division. Then you also got the Willard Warriors with a record of 17, 37, and 16. He's 21 games back, or categories back, however you want to count it. And now we move on to the second division in our beautiful league. Then you got the Nolan Ryan division. The Norfolk Tides is still rolling hard in that division. You got them at a 37, 18, and 5 record. Coming up behind them, you got the Say Hey Kids with a 29, 27, and 4 record. He's 8.5 back. Right behind him, you got the Giants with a 21, 33, and 6 record. He's 15.5 back, so I guess he's not right back at him, but he's there. And moving up last in that division, you got the St. Louis Redbirds. He's got a record of 16, 37, and 7. He's 20 games back in his division. And now we move on to last but not least, the Mickey Mantle division. That division is still headed by T.I., or not still, I should say. He just overtook the division back from the Marlins. I think the Marlins had it last week, I believe. This is the tightest division race, folks. And like I said, T.I. has this division right now by 2 games or 2 categories. His record is 28, 25, and 7. You got the Marlins, whose record is 27, 28, and 5. Then you got myself, the Polk County Pistols, with a record of 27, 29, and 4. I'm 2.5 back. The Marlins are 2 back. And then the Toronto Hard Knocks with a record of 24, 30, and 6. He's 4.5 back. So everybody in our division got at least 20 wins or 20 categories. Moving on up now, we'll do the matchups for week 4. Those matchups went a little something like this. You had the Polk County Pistols taking on the Giants. Pistols came out on that one firing on top, 8-5-2 in favor of the Pistols in that matchup. Next up, you had a heavyweight matchup battle between T.I. and the Toronto Bandits. That was a 7-7-1 split, so fairly even match squads. That's what you get. You got the Redbirds taking on the Warriors, and that went to the Warriors, so they still thumping, trying to get it from the bottom. They won that matchup 7-6-2 in that matchup. Fourth matchup of the week, you had bench player taking on VKL. Moving on up in that, you had the bench player killing that matchup with the score 11-3 to 1 tie. Then you got the Marlins taking on the Say Hey Kids. The Say Hey Kids went over there and said hey. Record on that one, or the score on that one, was 11-4, so the kids was knocking hard. And then you got the Norfolk Tides still rolling at high tie, baby, over the Toronto Hard Knocks. Another week for the Hard Knocks that they got hard knocked. 10-3-2 in favor of the Tides in that one. Like I said, it's still high tie rolling up in that division. Now let's get into the matchups and the previews for week 5, which is currently underway right now since it is past 7. That pits the 24, 30, and 6 Hard Knocks going up against the 27, 29, and 4 Pistols. Then you got the Bandits, who are 35, 21, and 4, taking on the Warriors, who's 17, 37, and 6. It's going to be a hard dude to get the categories against, my man. So the Warriors got his plate full, I guess you could say. He's got a lot more that he could chew. Then you got 29, 27, and 4 VKL, Virginia Caleb Lee, if y'all ain't know, taking on Team T.I. with a record of 28, 25, and 7. Yo, Team T.I. has been in like a heavyweight matchup every week. Basically, when I say these heavyweight matchups, all it means is that they taking the top 1 and 2 dudes in, per division. Next matchup pits 36, 16, and 5 bench player going up against the 16, 37, and 7 Redbirds. Let's see how that matchup goes out. That's another matchup the Redbirds are going to have to feed hard. They're going to try and get division or categories off of the bench player. He's been strong throughout the season and is consistent. I mean, it shows in his record. Then you got the 21, 33-6 Giants taking on the Say Hey Kids, 29, 27-4. Let's see who says hey in this matchup. The Giants took a tough loss last week, and the Say Hey Kids came up off a good win. So let's see how that goes. I got to give shout outs to the Giants, man. I was playing the Giants last week, and he was pounding me the whole week. So, I mean, I had a good weekend, and that's how I came on top. That matchup was close all week, so shout outs to the Giants. And then in the final matchup of the week, you got the Norfolk Tides at 37, 18-5, taking on the Florida Marlins at 27, 28-5. So that's another heavyweight matchup in the makings. That's how that goes for the matchups, the previews. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Everybody's favorite part. Basically, I'll go into the league leaders first. When I did do the script, my man James, he didn't have the trophies up there. So what I did was I did nominees, which is basically just the top person anyway. I mean, I don't know how he does his trophies. So, I mean, there's a couple people that are tied up in there. So I just gave them both nominations. Anyway, we're going to run into it. Goes a little something like this. We 6 minutes into the show. Got to get ready to wrap it up. So the league leaders in runs, that's going to the Tide with 183 runs so far on the season. Home runs, that's going to T.I. with 51 home runs on the year so far. Total bases, that goes hand in hand with T.I. 523 total bases so far on the year. RBIs, 167. Guess who? T.I. Base on balls or walks, that's going to the Toronto Bandits. He's got 133 walks on the year so far, so he's got patient hitters in his lineup, so that's good. Stolen bases, that's going to my man, the Marlins. We in a tight race right now. He's got 39 stolen bases, and I don't mean in the stolen bases category. I just mean division. Average, that's going to bench player. Right now, through the first 4 weeks of the year, he's got an average of 297, so that's holding strong. Like I said, bench player or Mr. Starter has been doing his thing. Defensive assist, that category is going to the Tides. He's got a strong lead on that one. He's got 364 defensive assists on the year so far. Now we move on to my favorite, pitching categories. Ks on the year so far with strikeouts at 334. That's going to the Polk County Pistols, myself. Complete games, we got 4 tied at 3 complete games. That is the bench player, T.I., the Bandits, and myself. The Pistols, wins, that's going to the Pistols with 24 wins on the year so far. Saves, that's going to the bench player who's got a strong bullpen. He's got 21 saves on the year so far. The next 3 is a sweep. That's going ERA, whip, and strikeouts to walks ratio. Those are all going to the Bandits. The Bandits got a 2.66 ERA. I see you, doggy, doing good out there. The whip, he's got a 1.17 whip on the year. And his strikeouts to walk ratio right now is a high 2.7, the highest in the league. Now, to get into the last part of the show, since I only got a couple minutes left, these are the trophies. My man James, I think he already handed out the trophies, so I'll just go ahead and throw my nominations out there anyway. They should be right, because all I did basically for my nomination was take whoever was the highest in the category. So, my nominees this week, or should have the trophy by now, based on the categories. The Griffey Trophy, a.k.a. Gone, with 17 home runs on the week. That's going to the Team T.I. Next up, you got the Ricky, a.k.a. Get That Man Trophy. That's going to the Marlins with 9 stolen bases on the week. The Ryan, a.k.a. Another One Bites the Dust. That's going to the Polk County Pistols with 97 strikeouts on the week. The Ruth Trophy, a.k.a. Hits, Hooray. That's going to the bench player with a 345 average in last week's matchup. The Goose Trophy, a.k.a. Rolades. That's a nominee trophy, I guess. That's why I call it nominees, because there's a tie in that one. So I don't know how my man does the trophies and the ties. I know in my league, I just give them, if it's 2 players tied for it, I'll give out the trophy. If it's more than 2, then I won't give out the trophy. But in the Rolades Trophy, you got the bench player and the Say Hey Kids, both with 5 saves each. So they're both nominated for that trophy. Not sure if they'll both get it or somebody will get it. I don't know what determines that. The Guidry, a.k.a. Shut 'em Down Trophy, that's going to the bench player with an ERA of 2.36 last week. And the Mays Trophy, a.k.a. The Buck Stops Here, that's going to the Norfolk Tides with 115 defensive assists last week. That was the Fantasy Flex. This is the Fantasy Flex. Tune in next week. I'll have more stats, everything that you guys want. Keep you guys full. Stay active. Thanks for tuning in.